Hello all, welcome you all to the daily Indian Express newspaper analysis for the date 7th September 2023, brought to you by Ganesh IAS Academy. Okay, let's get into the today's newspaper analysis. These are all the articles which we will be looking into in the upcoming slides. Have a look at it. Okay, bad weather ahead. So what does the news has mentioned is that it is the article which came in Indian Express newspaper. What the crux of the article is saying is that it is not only the climate change is impacting the fragile Himalayan region as well as the fragile Himalayan ecosystem, but also the governance as well as hydrological management issues are a huge concern in relation to the management of fragile Himalayan ecosystem. So this is what the crux of the news is related to. Okay, how the news is being related to civil service examination is, under prelims, it is being related to general issues on environment, ecology, biodiversity and climate change. In the case of mains, it is related to GS paper 3 environment under a topic called conservation, environmental pollution and degradation, environmental impact assessment. So these are the areas where we could able to expect the linkage of the news with the syllabus. Okay, what's the governance issues that is facing the climate mitigation effect in general, but also in the Himalayan region in particular? It is the lack of coordination between the state as well as local government is having a major concern in the governance in relation to the management of Himalayan ecosystem. See, the local government is having the direct directly it will be dealing with the local population. They will be knowing the ground reality, but most of the policy schemes being framed as well as implemented by the state government machineries rather than delegating it to the local government, because if the policy making as well as its implementation power is being delegated to local government means they will be formulating the policy as well as the implementation strategy according to the need of the particular area. So which is not happening. So right now the local government has been focusing more on the general municipal activities rather than the higher specialized goals, like focusing on higher specialized goals like climate related mitigation goals and other renewable technology goals, etc. And then lack of inclusive policy making. As I said, in the policy making, the stakeholders who will be affected by the implementation should be included in the policy making stage itself, so that the values of those local needs will be reflected in the policy making, which is not happening so. And then no feedback mechanism in the for the local bodies, because they are as I said, they are locally dealing with the people, so that they will be knowing the ground realities, and in them also, in local body systems also, the feedback mechanism is being weakened, so that the local values are not being properly reflected in the local government activities. And then lack of synergy between social welfare as well as environmental services leading to environmental degradation. And then corruptions in the governance system is also having a huge toll in the governance related issues. Similarly, structural inefficiency as well as red tapeism and other bureaucratic hurdles is the major threat for the governance related issues in the Himalayan region. So these are all the governance related issues in climate mitigation effort. And what is the climate change impact on Himalayas? Is Right now the glaciers of the Himalayas are melting at a rate faster than the average melting rate. Secondly, it is erratic as well as unpredictable weather condition is being taking place because of the changing nature of climate. And then there is changing in the rainfall pattern. The intensity of the rainfall is getting increased, and more amount of rain has been poured within a short period of time. And then the place or distribution of the rainfall is very erratic or uneven. And then because of this kind of thing, melting of glaciers, unpredictable weather condition and erratic rainfall, they are destroying the local ecosystems. They are having a huge toll on the local ecosystem. Okay, the news also mentioned is that there are certain governments like Delhi government has implemented transit oriented development, but they faced a backlash of the transit oriented development being implemented by the Delhi government as lacked the equity component in it. So what is this transit oriented development which the article talks about is it is the integration of every living space like office, public places, private places, homes. These places will be integrated towards the transit system, so that they could able to reduce the usage of private vehicle. If the private vehicle usage is getting reduced means, then the carbon footprint which is arising from the usage of the more number of vehicles will also get reduced. So this is what the transit oriented development is about. And what is advantages is that it reduces the it increases the ease of living of the people, because they could able to access every part of the city through the integrated transport system. And also there will be a common pathway for those who wanted to walk and also those who wanted to cycle. And then reduced accidents because of usage of common public system. There will be reduction in the usage of private vehicle, and then more number of people will be interested towards using the public transport system, as a result of which the accidents will get reduced, and then reduction in pollution will be taking place. That is the major important objective for which it is being implemented. And then there will be increase in the public transport usages. This will make our country to march towards the goal which we have pledged in the United Nations Framework for Convention on Climate Change. So what we needed to study further is, we should know about what does the Awas Yojana is about. Secondly, we should also know about the Amrut scheme. In both of the schemes or programs, we should know about what is the structure, what is the function, and who is the implementing agency, and who is the targeted beneficiary in it. Second is, we should know about the Himalayan geography. Third, we should also know about what is climate change and which international organization, which international governing convention is responsible for managing the climate change. So these are all the other areas which we needed to be aware of. Driest August, falling reserve. Reservoirs. See, right now this August is one of the driest August in the last 120 years. There was 35% deficit in the rainfall which was expected in the August month, and then nearly in 150 large reservoirs that is present across India, the water storage has been decreased below the national average level, and then 75% of the rain will be taking place only during the 4 months of the monsoon season. So remaining 8 months, these reservoirs will enable us to manage the water related crisis. But because of the deficit in rainfall, the cumulative amount of water that is present in the reservoir got reduced. As a result of which, they are expecting that there might be a water crisis that may be happening in the later period of the year. And then, because of the driest month, the power requirement also got increased. Why? Because as we all know, if there has been increased amount of water is there, means there will be no need for irrigation in the agriculture. It is not correct to say there is no need. There will be reduced need for irrigation. But because of the lack of water, there has been demand for increased irrigational activities. As a result of which, the power that needed to support for irrigational activity also got, the demand for it also got increased. So that the more number of coal related power production also got increased during this period. During this period, because of the lack of rainfall and also reduced water in the reservoirs. And this is what the news is related to. News is about. How the news is related to civil service examination is, under prelims it is related to economic as well as social development. Similarly, under mains, under paper GS3, under agriculture, a topic called major cropping patterns in various parts of country, different types of irrigations and irrigation storage system, transport and marketing of agriculture produce, and issues and related constraints, e-technologies in the aids of farmers. So under these topics, this news is related. Okay, let's discuss about the status of Indian dams. India is the third largest in the world in terms of largest reservoir construction country, and then in that, out of the 5,200 large reservoirs we are having, in that 1,100 reservoirs have reached the age of 50 years as well as above the 50 years. And what they are expecting is that by 2050, the dam which has reached the age of 50 years will be increased to 4,400 large reservoirs. Right now it is 1,100 and it will be increasing it to 4,400. So there need to be a policy requirement for management as well as building, retrofitting the existing reservoirs. So this is what the state of Indian dams is about. Okay, let's discuss about what is the significance of the dam. It is a dam. Why the dam has been constructed? The major reason, first and foremost important reason, is for the water storage, so that the water available in the reservoirs will be helpful for those people in the surrounding region to fight the water scarcity that will be happening during the rainfall deficit season. And then, because of the availability of huge amount of water in the reservoirs, hydrological power could be produced from it. Similarly, the waters could be used for irrigational activities in agriculture industry, and then it could also enables the flood control during the excess rainfall, and then it also enables navigation or promote the inland water transport. So this is what the significance of the dam is about. Okay, what is the issue of Indian dam is, as we have seen in the previous slide, nearly 1,100 dams have reached the age of 50 and above. The first and foremost issue in Indian dam is the aging infrastructure. Most of the dam have reached the age of 50 plus above, and then the dams have been built based on the rainfall pattern. But we all know that the recent years the rainfall pattern is being changed, so that this dams is facing a threat because of the lack of rainfall. The dams is not receiving the amount of rainfall which it usually used to occur, or in some other case the amount of rainfall is exceeding the storage capacity of the dam. So this kind of difficulties right now being faced by the Indian dam. And then because of the aging of the dam, there has been increase in the silt in the reservoirs, as a result of which the water storage capacity of the reservoirs is also getting reduced, and then it is changing the natural flow of the river. Most of the dam have been built across the rivers only. So because of the years it has been in operation, more for example, nearly 1100 dams have aged nearly 50 plus years, and because of the more number of years it has been operating, it has changed the natural river flows. Similarly, there is inefficiency in the management as well as the water usage in the dam. Then there is lack of transparency as well as accountability in relation to the dam maintenance, retrofitting, upgrading, operations. And then there is lack of cooperation between center and state in relation to the management or the construction of the dams. So these are all the issues in relation to the dams. So what is the impact does the dam construction create? Is the cost of constructions as well as maintenance of dam is way higher right now. Second is, if the dam is going to be constructed means, then the local community or the local people, those who have been living in those regions, needed to get displaced, or there will arise a situation that they needed to be displaced to other areas, and then it is having a threat against lack of loss of biodiversity. If the scientific requirements are not followed in construction of the dam means, it might lead to loss of biodiversity. And then because of huge diversion of the water or the natural flow of diversion of natural flow of the river, there has been soil erosion is being taking place. So these are all the important issues, impacts in relation to the dam as well as dam construction is about. So what need to be studied further, we need to study further is, we should know about what is monsoon, what is southwest monsoon as well as northeast monsoon. Second is, we should also know the major dams that is present in India, what is the name of it, and in which river it has been constructed and in which state it has been constructed. Second is, we should also know the hydropower in India, the small hydropower production, large hydropower production, and which has more percentage in the energy mix of India. So these are all the other areas which we needed to be aware of. Cabinet approves 3,760 crore outlay for battery energy storage via gap funding. See, a scheme has been approved by the cabinet where the government will be providing nearly 40% of the capital requirement for building a battery energy storage. That capital will be available for 3 years, and then the scheme aims to create nearly 4,000 megawatt of battery storage capacity. And why it has been constructed, why the importance has been given is that right now there is no battery storage system in India. So by building by supporting the private through capital infusement, the cost of the battery storage system will get reduced, as a result of which more number of battery storage system will be built, which in turn will reduce the wastage of energy, more importantly the renewable energy that is happening in India. So this is what the news is related. How the news is being related to civil service examination is, under prelims it is being related to economics as well as social development. Similarly, under mains in GS paper 3, it is related to infrastructure, where under infrastructure energy, port, road, airport, railways, etc. infrastructure have been involved. So this is what the news is about. and this is how the news is related to civil service examination. See, the battery energy storage, as we all know, is a system to store the energy that is produced in India. More importantly, the renewable energy. And then to reduce the wastage of energy. It is the reason why the battery energy storage is going to be built in India. And what are the important components does it has is, first is battery. It may be lithium ion battery or any other battery. Second is inverter. Third is battery management system, that is it will be acting as regulator of the battery storage system, where it will be regulating the inflow as well as the outflow of the energy that is taking place in the battery storage system. So these are all the components which are involved in making the battery storage system. So what is the benefit it produces? That it reduces the peak demand because of the reduction in the wastage of the wastage of energy, electrical energy, which is produced from renewable capacity. There will be enough energy will be available with the government, so that they could able to manage the peak demand periods, and then it will be acting as backup power to the people. Similarly, it will be acting as grid stabilization. Why? Because if the battery is going to be connected to the grid technologies, means the frequency of the power that is going towards the grid technology needed to be at the constant flow. So if there is a erratic or there is a disturbance in the inflow as well as outflow from the grid technology, means then there will be destruction of the grid will be taking place, which will be managed by battery storage system. And then it will be increasing the reliability of the grid because of the efficiency in the battery management system which is available in the battery storage system, so that the frequency at which the power that is sent towards the grid, and as well as the power that is got from the grid towards the battery storage system will be in the constant frequency, and then there is no disruption in the renewable energy because of the reduction of wastage that is happening in the renewable energy capacity. And then what is the challenge that the battery storage system produces? That the first and foremost challenge is its initial as well as maintenance cost. So to reduce this cost only, government is inducing or giving an inducement to the private in the form of subsidy or the viable gap funding. And then there need to be a constant upgradation of the technology needed to be takes place in the future dates. So constant upgradation will involve time cost, human cost, as well as financial cost. And then there will be a situation where more number of e-wastage will be produced from this battery technology. So, and then there will be an issue in integration of the technology, battery storage system with the grid. So these are all the other challenges. So why government is right now providing the inducement to build the battery storage system is because of the India's climate goal, which India has made to United Nations Framework for Convention on Climate Change. In that, India has pledged that it will be reaching 500 gigawatt non-fossil fuel energy capacity by 2030. Similarly, it will be having 50% of its energy requirement from renewable energy by 2030, and then it will be reducing the total projected carbon emission by 1 billion tons from now to 2030. Similarly, it will be reducing the carbon intensity of the economy by 45% by 2030 over 2005 levels. Similarly, it will be achieving the target of net zero emission by 2070. So in order to achieve this pledge, we have to develop our renewable energy capacity. For that, battery storage system will be acting as the backbone to march our country towards the pledge which we have made in the global arena. So this is what the news is about. So what we needed to study further is, we should know about what is United Nations Framework for Convention on Climate Change. Similarly, we should also know about the India's energy mix, the proportion in which the India energy mix has been made. We should know. Second is, we should also know about India's electric vehicle policy. What is the target and policy as well as schemes, that is schemes and programs that has been made in the policy. So we have to know about it. So this is for the analysis in relation to the news. Japan joins India and China's neighbors in rejecting Beijing map, and it lodges protest. So this it is not protest. Right now, after the introduction of the China's new map, China has claimed certain part of the Kashmir as well as which India has the sovereign right over it, and also it has claimed the Senkaku Island in the name of DAV Island in Chinese. So Japan has protested against the China's for its unilateral decision to occupy this island inside its map. And how the news is related to exam is, under prelims, it is related to current events of national and international importance. Similarly, under mains, it is related to bilateral, regional, global groupings as well as agreement, and which involves India's or affecting the India's interest. So these are all the other areas which we need to be aware of. Okay, let's discuss about what is the Senkaku Island. They are group of small uninhabited island in East China Sea. And why there is being tension in the region is, it has the huge fishing resource. Similarly, it also has huge amount of oil resources, and more number of important shipping lanes are present in the either side of the Senkaku Island, in which some are owned by China, some are owned by Taiwan, some are owned by Japan. So that this region is having huge economic as well as strategic potential for the country. So they are having a tussle over the island. What is the claims made by the Japan is, Japan says this territory, it is part of the Japan since 1895, after conducting a enormous or comprehensive scientific survey, and then it was with Japan till 1945 or till the end of World War II. After World War II, Japan handed over the island along with Okinawa Island as well as Ryukyu Island to USA. Later, in 1972, USA through Okinawa Reversal Agreement gave back the Senkaku Island as well as the two other islands to the Japan. Right now, it is being entirely administered by Japan. That is what the claim made by the Japan over the island. So what the China's claim over the Senkaku Island is, China says that since 14th century, China has the sovereign right over it, and it is producing some documents in relation to it. And because of the Japan's expansionist policy during 19th as well as 20th century, it has illegally occupied the Senkaku Island from the China. And under Cairo as well as Potsdam Declaration in 1945, it is mandatory that the China needed to give back the areas that has been illegally occupied by it from the China. So Since Senkaku Island has been illegally occupied by China, China is having a claim over it based on the Cairo as well as Potsdam Declaration, which was signed in 1945. So this is what the claim of the both side is about, and this is what the this is the reason why they have been having why the Senkaku Island is in tussle, because of the huge number of economic as well as strategic potential it has. So what we needed to study further is, we should know about what is East China Sea as well as the map related to it. Second is, we should know about the South China Sea and what is the issue that is going on there and what is the geographical part of it. Second is, we should also know about similarly Indo-Pacific region and the geography of it. Similarly, what is the issue that has been created in the Indo-Pacific region by the China. So these are all the other areas which we needed to be aware of. Okay, let's discuss a practice prelims question. Which one of the following statement best reflects the issue with Senkaku Island sometime mentioned in the news? I want those students, those who are watching this current affairs session or Indian Express newspaper analysis session online, please do the comment the option point for the question which you are seeing right now on the board. Okay, student. With this, we have reached the end of the session. So, thank you.